Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to show how to make the wall openings that we need to represent doors and the staircases that we're gonna have in the model. So to do that, we use this tool over here. This is the wall hole tool. There's one for slab holes. So if you want to draw a hole on a vertical plane, you can draw a slab hole. A wall hole is just this is a horizontal like floor or ceiling or something like this. This is for a vertical wall, something like this. I think a block hole is you can kind of draw kind of a miscellaneous hole kind of anywhere. But so for this exercise, we're going to be using the wall hole tool. You can see that when you click on any of these, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but when you click on it twice, you see a green button there. So that makes it a lot easier to draw multiple items like we're going to be doing right now. So since we have a bunch of doors, we're going to just be using this tool over and over again. So we can just click here, draw to the size that we think it is about, and then hit enter. And then for this, I kind of want to reevaluate. So just a couple things to point out. When we draw a hole, we want to make sure that we draw the hole starting on the wall side that's most negative, or the lowest. So for example, we drew the wall onto the more positive side here, and the wall direction goes more positive. So when we're looking at the thickness, this is always going to be a positive number, so it's always going to go from lowest to highest, aka just this direction. Similarly, when you draw one that's going in the x direction, it's always going to be going from here to this way, not the other way around. So what we can do to make it a lot easier and avoid redrawing everything once we do this, we can just draw it on the lower side of the walls. So either on this side for going this direction, or this side for going in the x direction. But since we did this, I can show you how to adjust one of these doorways so that you don't need to redraw it. You can just easily adjust it. So we can use that, or we can use the move tool that's located up here on the toolbar. We can use this to move objects. So we just click on that. We have the object selected already. I usually click on one of the corners because it's easier to control, and we can just translate it into the door frame like this. Let's take a look at how that worked. So we can see that it didn't work out too well because it translated in the z direction as well as the x direction. I'm not really sure why that happened, but let's just try and make sure that we adjust it and it looks, yeah, so we can see that it's looking through the room and it's actually made a hole through that wall. The other thing that you can do is just to make sure is you can check the coordinates and make sure that they are okay. You'll notice that whenever you use the move tool, an additional transformation properties box will come up here, and you can change all sorts of things. So I guess for this one, we can see that it changed where it was in the z direction, and we do not want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these back to 0, and that will just make sure that the rotation. And that'll just make sure that it's on the right elevation. But now we're going to be using our trick that we learned so that we draw it on the correct side of the wall. So again, if we're using the wall tool like this, we want to draw it on this side because it will go into the wall. So there, we drew it perfectly. We don't need to move or change it at this point. So yeah, and I think at this point we can just go like this, so we can just draw a bunch of them and hit enter here, hit enter. There's one up here, hit enter, one up here, hit enter, one here, enter. Whoops. Okay, so now we can see that this one kind of got rotated. Oh, wait, no. Weird. Alright, so this just took on kind of an odd shape, so I'm just going to delete that because it looks sort of strange, and then just redraw it. Here's where I kind of trust the snaps a lot more than maybe I should to align everything, but it usually works out pretty well. I'm just going to translate that to match where the doorway is. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And so then we have another doorway up here. Again. So I got to make sure that you're on an even plane and that you're actually snapping. You can kind of like feel it tugging at the bottom of the wall here. So when you're drawing, just make sure that you're snapped to the right location so you can draw everything squarely. Otherwise, it can get a little squirrely, like we've seen a little bit. So now we'll start in on the ones in the X direction. So remember, we want to go from kind of greatest to least here. That didn't work. So for here, I'm just going to use the translate tool again and try and figure out why that didn't really work out well. For these trouble ones, I can just go in and change the thickness of the wall just to make it a little bit simpler for us, so we don't need to be as precise with our placement. So here we see that moving in the Z direction. So I'm just going to translate this a little bit more, because this would be the easiest way to do it. Alright, so there we go. So now we can see that's going through the wall here. Okay, so to draw another one, I guess we'll try to do it on this side of the wall. There we go. Oh, weird. Oh, you know why? Three, one, probably. Let's try that. Yep, there we go. Pretty good. It just has some little inconsistencies, so we'll just adjust that just a tad by improving it, or making it a little bit thicker, and then just being a little bit less precise on our measurements. And like I said, it's not going to make a huge difference because it's not going to be cutting into any of the other obstructions. and it's still going to make the hole that we want, so it's all good there. I think we just have a couple left. Here's one last one. Okay, let's see. Yep, I think just 2 more down here and then we'll be set. There's another one, and then try these ones here. Okay, so I think we can just select all the holes that we made and do a zoom, and we can see that I think we got all of them here. So door, 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 door. So yeah, there's how you do that. Yeah, where's the thing? And